night, good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Maybe you are, yes, you never know where you might be. You have joined us here on the Daily Antidote of Song. You are in the right place at the right time for a song. And it's been a whole week of immigration songs. We are Emma's Revolution. We're glad to be joining you here on Sunday. I'm Sandy O.
And I'm Pat Humphries.
Yeah, nice to see you all. And and nice to see folks on Facebook Live. Thanks for joining us on Facebook Live. We like to start these hellos by singing them to you. So it's a bit of an early morning for us. We had an actual gig outside with real people. We saw Arlene as a full-bodied human being. It was a shock. It was wonderful. And it does mean that we had a lot of packing in and packing out to do. So let's see if we can sing this morning. We'll do that song that you've sung with us before where you get to sing, hello, 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 hello. So will that be the right key?
We'll see.
Hello, 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 hello. And the hellos will come back and you can sing them with me. You can make your own harmony, 'cause we're all gonna sing hello, 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 hello. This is where we say good morning to the Facebook Live. We can't see your faces, but we know that you're there. We love your energy when you sing hello, 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 hello. Good morning to JoJo. She rocks the show. She really keeps it going and going and go, 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 go. Hello, hello, hello. There's Erin in the screen. Erin makes the things go click and clack. She gets those words into that chat. Let's say hello right back. Hello, 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 hello. Brian is rocking in a rocking chair, and Kim is there over there, and Annette without an R. There's Becky from BC.
Hello, hello, hello.
There's Susan in Ohio, Tobes from across the bay from us, and Arlene in Berkeley, and Kevin. And we'll let's sing to everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Kate, I see you in Charlottesville. Trish and Moria and Susan and Sarah and Julie, yes. Hello, 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 hello. Carolyn of Boise. It's so very formal, of Boise. I really like how you rocked it there, Carolyn. And Sheila, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Bonnie and Luda and Mark, showing a heart. You can show a heart. There is Steve and Michelle and Anne and Barb and Maria. Hello, 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 hello. Christiana is also in Seattle. Maybe you should meet up with our other person in Seattle. You never know. There is Storm and there's Bob and there's Deborah. Hello, 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 hello. Well, see, if you turn on your video and you pop in my list, and I have to figure out where I've saw it before and whose name I haven't said yet, but there's Sherry and Lynn. Hello, 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 hello. Hoda and Allison. Allison, we know you from way back. Nice to see you. There's Deli and Bob with some cinnamon bears, if I'm correct. Hello, 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 hello. Carol J. and Ann in Nashville. Aloysius and Caroline in D.C. And there's Ruth. There's some flowers. There's some names. Hello, 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 hello. I think we have covered all of the ground this morning and this afternoon and tonight. It's amazing where you can be in the same time at the same place and not at the same.
Hello, hello, hello.
Anyway. All right. Thanks for greeting. And I realized I could pull this up closer and see your names and not look like such an idiot. What is your name? Oh, there we go. Took me 100 days being here with you all.
Don't put your back so far because my head gets really teeny in comparison to yours.
Oh dear. It's only because I'm leaning forward. Yeah.
I know. I'm just saying.
Hello, hello, Emma's Revolution at 9 a.m. in California, and thank you for managing to get here even whilst we are, noticing that you might be maybe a tiny bit less something than you generally are. We're going to all blame that on the gig. The hellos were beautiful, and good morning. Do you want to take a deep breath and another sip of coffee or anything?
We don't drink coffee.
No, we're tea drinkers.
But that's okay. We're all right. Yeah, I think, it is that there is a little bit of unsettled because we had this very new and yet familiar and super unfamiliar experience. So yeah,
a real live gig. Wow.
But we're thrilled to be back with you all here also.
Thank you so much for being here. So I absolutely love that you are bringing us our closing song for our Immigration Week, because it's a beautiful song, and I know we're going to enjoy singing it. Will you guys tell us a little bit about it and either sing through the chorus or teach whatever you want to do?
Yeah.
Thanks.
So much of the immigration that has gone on pretty much for as long as this country has existed has had to do with farmers coming across the border and picking the fruit and the vegetables that we all benefit from. And that used to be a whole lot easier to do. People would come across and go back routinely, and that was very easy. And as those borders started to become tighter and tighter, people would come to this side of the border and stay longer, and they missed their families back where they started out, so they would start bringing family members over with them because it was really hard to get back and forth reliably so that they could actually work. So now we have this issue that goes on as kind of an undertow to all the other things that are going on, the meddling that we do in other countries, especially right now with Haiti. And now because of all the natural disasters as well as the political disasters, we have huge numbers of folks who are fleeing their countries of origin, where I'm sure for the most part they would love to be able to remain, but we have helped to make that an almost impossible situation. So today we're going to sing about those farm workers. I wish I had a song about the Haitian refugees, and that's sort of in the back of my mind. But we were also thinking about these third vaccines that we're offering here in the U.S. and thinking about these people who are picking our food, many of whom have not even had access to one vaccination yet. So, folks that are largely healthy and not in those high-risk categories, maybe think about that before you get that third vaccination, so that those vaccines can go a little farther. And we're thinking about those folks today when we sing this song.
So here's the chorus for you.
From harm may we be delivered, demand though we may be fired, to meet and bargain together for all workers, clean and safe shelter, and a cold cup of water, and a cold cup of water,
And then let's give you the chorus with some harmony in case you want to do it that way.
From harm may we be delivered, demand though we may be fired, to meet and bargain together for all workers, clean and safe shelter, and a cold cup of water, and a cold cup of water,
So for the harmony part, you get to jump around. You can sing higher than Pat, you sing lower than Pat. And you've got the words in your chat, thanks to Aaron. And this is a song that Pat wrote when she was going to be singing at an event for Farm Worker Justice Day in Albany, New York, many years ago.
Excuse me. Acres and acres of rope on rope, scratched in the face of the land, holding the hopes of the seeds we've sown deep in the cracks of my hands. They come come from places our children can't grow. Some of us are south of the border, seeking safety and wages and work, daily food and water. From harm may we be delivered, demand though we may be fired, to meet and bargain together for all workers, clean and safe shelter, and the cold cup of water, and the cold cup of water, The dust stings my eyes, my fingers will blister from poisonous water and air. If I speak up, the crew boss insists there's hundreds to take my place here. From spring to the fall, we all make the rounds, from bunkhouse, orchard, and field. In 49 years, I'll be under this ground, waiting for next season's yields. From harm may we be delivered, demand though we may be fired, to meet and bargain together for all workers, clean and safe shelter, and a cold cup of water, and a cold cup of water, I trusted the grower's promise of work, live months away from my home. Now I yield little more than blisters and dirt, and the weariness in me is growing. If you think you owe my family no debt, let the fruit spoil on the bough. $3 billion of my toil and sweat are feeding your empire now. From harm may we be delivered, demand though we may be fired, to meet and bargain together for all workers, clean and safe shelter, and the cold cup of water, and the cold cup of water, just a cold cup of water.
Pat and Sandy, thank you so much. That was tremendous. Really fun on the harmonies and the playing around with the harmonies. Thank you. But also, I don't know, the combination of your introduction and the song words itself kind of brought home for me the ways that all of these things right now are so interconnected. The climate change, the labor, the virus, and of course, the immigration issues, and just so tangled together in what sometimes feels like a very big unfixable mess, but that doesn't sound very hopeful, so I'll say really tough, really tough to fix mess. So just, can you tell us a little bit more about the song, about how you're feeling right now, about the things that are going on?
Well, I wrote this song at first because farm workers were one of two categories back in the 30s when we created the standards for workers and the labor laws. There were two categories of workers that were sort of thrown out of that conversation, and they were farm workers and domestic workers. Of course, some of the most vulnerable workers. So it's been left to the states for all of these years to one by one, issue by issue, raise the standards for even in with regard to the number of hours that they are allowed to work in a day, minimum wage, all those things have had to be carved out state by state for these two categories of workers. And I don't even think we've begun the work on domestic workers, but we have, at least thanks to folks like Dolores Huerta and Zeta Chavez, we've begun that process. But it has taken this long. And finally, this particular campaign was called A Cup of Cold Water because there was even a legislator in New York State who went on record when the workers were demanding a source of potable water where they work. There was a legislator who was willing to go on record to say they should drink water before they come to work. Now, these are people who work 14 hours a day in the fields, and there are no standards for their housing. They have no right to collective bargaining. They didn't even have the right to days off, or a limited day's work, or access to bathrooms. It was just the level that they were working at was so base and so horrific. So this particular campaign was to get them water, which we won with the help of lots and lots of advocates in the state, but also the help of this song. But each year, this group of folks, the Rural and Migrant Ministry, has gone back to Albany with farm workers to tell their stories directly to the legislators there. And finally, after 26 years of going every single year, they finally passed an omnibus bill in New York State that covers all of these issues, including collective bargaining, which was the one sticking point. They did not want these folks to be able to form a union, and they're now able to do that, which was a huge, huge, huge triumph. Really, such a great success. Yeah. But it took 26 years.
Yeah, that was the point I wanted to say about the Tangled experience. I think that the pandemic has done this kind of amazing and horrifying job of cutting right through the center of everything so that everybody sees, wow, these things really are all connected. And in a way, it's an opportunity for all of us to keep our focus broad. While we take action on whatever piece of it we can take action on, we know that the environment intersects with health. We know that workers' rights intersect with gender issues and women's rights and trans rights and all of that. And it's really, really important because it gives us the opportunity to see that we're stronger when we are active together and when we work together. And also, just even though it took 26 years, where would we be if we hadn't spent the 26 years, right? So sometimes it's a long journey. And I think that one piece of it for me too, I used to be someone who really couldn't listen to the news because the news was all bad news, right? And so here I am as an activist performer for the last 20 years. But what's different is that we are in touch with, and so are you here with the groups that come through, we are in touch with people who are doing the work. And that is very inspiring. And so if you are feeling overwhelmed by the news, find the local group where you are, where you can phone bank, even if you're not going to go out in the streets, or where you can do email campaigns, or whatever it is that you can do to get yourself involved, because taking action will relieve that sense of complete overwhelm.
And they're some of the most amazing people, really, that we've ever met, the folks who are working on the front lines of these different campaigns.
And it's interesting because we talk a lot in here about what it is that we can do as individuals. And we've thrown different things out and talked about different things we can do, and made especially complicated by the pandemic and the fact that we're on these screens. And as you guys were talking, I realized that there's one thing that I don't think we've talked about in here, or if we have, I've forgotten. And it links directly to what Elise Witt was bringing up yesterday, was the notion of languages and of speaking many languages. And I remembered that when I was in college, and just out of college, I was doing English as a second language teaching with migrant workers in the Gettysburg, Pennsylvania region as they went up through and, whatever the fruit was at the time. And I had never met migrant workers, fruit pickers, before. I had never met their children. I had never heard their stories personally. And in the context of that, I did. And it was a complete change for me in terms of understanding it more, being much more impassioned, or feeling like I had to even now figure out what to do more. I think it's experiences like that that can really drive one's energy to get up in the day and say, I don't care how big the tangle is, got to get my part in, because I met those folks. I was with those folks. I now love those folks, whatever it is, right? And so thank you for that beautiful reminder.
Yeah,
and
right on. Wow.
and I would say, like, in a way, it's just another piece that messes into what we were talking about, because language and the vaccine barriers and the work issues are all intertwined, because we're hearing that some people aren't getting the vaccines because they can't get off from work for the schedule that the vaccine clinics are open, or they don't understand what they're reading, or they can't read, or they don't understand English, or anything that it is that's standing in the way of it. And I know during the beginning of the pandemic, it was very complicated when some folks were saying, I'm not going to get the vaccine yet. I'm younger, I'm healthier, I want to let other folks get there first. And then we were hearing about vaccines being thrown away, right? Yeah. And so it isn't even a direct line where we can say, I won't do that, so it goes to somebody else, because it doesn't always go to somebody else. And that's just another area where we need to be working, right? Why is so much coming here when it could be going elsewhere or to other countries to begin with, right? Not all, many of us have been double vaccinated. So why are we the recipient of anything more at this point? And just hard to answer questions and hard to figure out where to get in maybe to that particular problem. So get in on some other element of it, wherever the places you can find. Helping to teach English will help that problem down the road, right? And
absolutely.
Yeah, and there are food banks and things like that that serve agricultural communities. I know that around here they were setting up vaccine clinics that would go to the fields, right? And then that also, the idea that you can't get off work also ties in with like election reform and election issues. If we can't get off work to vote, and if our votes don't count, but I'm just sort of drawing it out that we're talking about this right now, but it still taps something else that many of us care about. And the more we can see the bigger picture and the way these things connect, the more we can get in there and connect those dots and help to connect those dots.
And just like, when you're untangling a knot, each strand that you pull on makes more space for you to get in and get to more of those other issues. So you relieve some of the stress on that tangle by going at it from whatever direction you can. We volunteered at some vaccine clinics, and they were focused actually on restaurant workers. So almost every single person in this case that came through was from the Latinx community. And, there they were getting an opportunity because the county said, we're going to focus on this community. And we got to be there right up close with that community of folks, helping to make these issues be less abstract. And likewise with this particular campaign, they brought the farm workers right to the legislators. So the legislators could not stand at a distance and say, oh no, they're fine, don't worry about it. We had them speak their stories with a translator if they needed to, and face to face, say, I am the effect of your policies. Hear my story. And it changes everything.
Pat, thank you so much. And Sandy, thank you so much. That's really beautiful. And just to take it back to Pete Seeger, because it always goes back to Pete Seeger. I think you and I, we have talked about this here before. I know I've mentioned it in the room before, but he recommended a book to me called Blessed Unrest, and probably he recommended it to you too. And the sort of theory of the book was that we are actually in the middle of the biggest revolution that we've ever been in, and that's nonprofits. And so there's you're going at the knot from all the different angles, right? It doesn't matter whether you choose the food kitchen or the language learning or whatever it is. It's the momentum of all of the people and all of the organizations together that actually has the power to make more change than a lot of the sort of other ways that we've shouted at the world and not made things happen. So thank you for everything that you just brought here. And do you want to add anything else about anything you have coming up or anything you're excited about?
Yeah, we have a concert this afternoon online at 1 p.m. our time Pacific, 4 p.m. your time if you're in the East Coast, and whatever else that means for you, wherever you are. And it is our monthly concert. We've been doing monthly online concerts, bringing in 2 guests to join us. We've been teaching every Sunday a song of ours or a song from a guest, and then having a concert at the end of the month. So today's concert is with Reggie Harris, who I know has been here, and Maggie Wheeler, who I know has also been here. So please join us for that. And then we have our weekly things, and then not sure I can remember what else we have coming up. But yeah, but please do stay in touch with us. You can get on our list at emmasrevolution.com, or you can check our website or Facebook. And yeah, we look forward to seeing folks.
Sounds great. I'm really glad that you got a chance to meet Arlene. I love the fact that you actually know Allison Snow. I don't know the story there, and I can't wait to hear it. But Allison and I, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. You finish, and then I'll pop in.
I was going to say, Allison and I took our little boys to Quebec together and spent a week in Quebec with our little ones. And I had no idea she knew you. And so I love the way the world keeps just bringing us together in all these ways. So what's your connection?
Yes. Well, actually, it helps me remember a thing that we have coming up, which is on November 21st, the School of the Americas Watch virtual vigil and litany. And we, in the before times, had been singing at the School of the Americas Watch Vigil down in Fort Benning, Georgia, and then when it moved to the Arizona border. And it's an activist gathering to bring attention. Again, it takes years, right? It's been going on for 20 years or 25 years by now, to bring attention to a torture training school right here that we pay for on U.S. soil. And Allison was one of our stage managers there for many years, and so we saw Allison every year, and it was a huge demonstration. 8,000, 25,000 people, an amazing demonstration. Pete came once, called it the Singinist demonstration, Singinist movement.
Yep.
Yeah.
Since the civil rights movement.
Yeah. So that's how we know Allison.
I love it. I think that's so beautiful. Allison, thank you for all of that help that you were doing back then with them. And I hope that we can all keep finding places to meet and connect in exactly these kinds of situations. That's what we need now. We need a Daily Antidote service trip. Wait, don't get me started on another project.
We will. You're such a good project leader and inspirer. Do you want us to just sing that chorus one more time before
Would love it. Thank you.
Before we head out? And that thing that I mentioned, November 21st, is happening online. You can come be part of the School of the Americas Watch on a virtual vigil. It's sometime in the afternoon, which I'm not remembering at the moment. But again, it will be on our website.
Yeah, it's a really, really powerful thing. It was incredibly powerful in person, but it's also a really, really powerful thing even online. So it's a great community of people.
Let's do the last verse with all the tag bits at the end.
Okay. The verse and chorus.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, the last chorus.
Chorus, okay.
Tags.
Excuse me. 2, 3. From harm may we be delivered, to man though we may be fired, to meet and bargain together, for all workers clean and safe shelter, and a cold cup of water, and a cold cup of water, just a cold cup of water.
Thank you so much, Pat and Sandy. That was really beautiful. Wonderful to sing with you. Wonderful to see all of you today. And Aaron, thank you so much for the reminder. Aaron reminded me that we were going to do a moment of silence today because we've been singing and moving really fast all week and we haven't taken a breath. So Pat and Sandy, before you say the goodbyes, can we just take a minute? And do you want to go ahead and call the end of it just in about a minute? Perfect. Thank you so much, everybody. Take a nice deep breath and let's reflect for a minute on the journey we've been through this week.
You know, we don't like to just say goodbyes. We have to sing goodbyes, because why not sing? Why not sing our journey? We'll let you go, Jojo, we'll let you go, goodbye. Nice to see you, Jojo, goodbye. And then Brian, we'll see you next time. Kim, we'll see you next time. Annette, we'll see you next time. And Susan, we'll see you next time, next time. Tobes, we'll see you next time. It's the same rhythm. We'll see you next time. Arlene and Kevin, we'll see you next time. We just sing next time. Katie, we'll see you next time. Trish, we'll see you. Susan, we'll see you. Sarah, we'll see you. Everyone will see you next time. I guess I find it hard to leave this cool little rhythm, this cool little tune, so we're gonna sing it again, and we'll just say next time. We'll see you next time. Sarah and Carolyn, we'll see you next time. Bonnie and Luda and Mary, next time. Oh, that's Mark, not Mary. Next time. Yeah. And we'll see you next time. Barb will see you. Christiana will see you. Storm, Bob, and Deborah next time. Sherry will see you next time. Allison will see you on November 21st. Next time, Deli, see you, Bob. Next time, say hello to Mabel. Next time, Carol will see you next time. And then there's someone else whose name's coming up to me. It's Anne in Nashville next time. Caroline in D.C., Ruth in England, Tom, there's our friend Tom in North Carolina. Jamie will see you next time. I think you just had a big birthday, Tom. Marilyn will see you. Sheila will see you next time. Nancy and your cow will see you next time. Julie and Al will see you next time. Becky and Julie, Lynn and Lisa in her hometown, her old hometown of Mount Rainier. We'll see you next time. Ginny and Kat and Paula and Julie and Lori and Moria, everyone joining on Facebook Live. We'll see you next time.